Greetings, chess players. My name is Chris Torres, and this is my daily chess musing for Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. Another day of the fight to challenge Magnus Carlsen concludes. Ian Nepomniachtchi continues to dominate the standings with Fabiano Caruana, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and Anish Giri all sharing second place behind him by a point. The two Russians battled it out, with Nepo defeating Aleeksenko with good opening strategies. A bit of gossip if that's your thing. Aleeksenko has been accused by some in the chess community of losing the game on purpose since Nepo is at the top of the tournament. They claim that the two Russians want a Russian playing Magnus Carlsen, so they are working together in this way. I don't know about all of that. So let's move on to a couple of the key games today. So the only decisive game of round 10 occurred between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Kirill Aleeksenko. Ian Nepomniachtchi starts with c4, knight f6, 2g3, e6, bishop g2, d5, knight f3, dx c4, queen a4, check, knight b to d7, queen takes c4, and then a6. Aleeksenko plays a6 with a plan to follow with a pawn to b5, pushing white's queen and then placing his bishop on b7 to combat white's bishop on g2. 7, queen c2. But Nepo places the queen on c2, so black will not get to play pawn to b5 with initiative. Now black will not be able to place his bishop on the important h1 to a8 diagonal. 7, c5. So Aleeksenko plays c5 instead. But what happens had he decided to continue with the pawn to b5? Let's take a quick look. Had black played 7, pawn to b5, then white has the surprising 8, knight e5, at their disposal, threatening to take black's rook with the bishop, but also this means that black's bishop on c8 is stuck. So that's why Aleeksenko played 7, pawn to c5, 8, knight c3, bishop e7. This seemingly innocent move seems to be the source of black's later troubles. Instead of playing bishop e7 here, I suggest that the player with the black pieces should instead play queen to c7, as the queen on c7 can support black's light squared bishop on b7. For instance, if 8, queen to c7, white can castle, there's the b6 to prepare bishop e7, pawn to d4, and bishop e7, and black's bishop is able to safely be posted on the important h1 to a8 diagonal. Now, maybe white would play bishop f4. Well, that's fine. Black has bishop d6, dx c5, queen takes c5, bishop e3, and queen c7 results in a roughly equal position. Kirill Aleeksenko's 8, bishop to e7 does not. 9, castle, castle, d4, cx d4, knight takes d4, queen c7, rook d1, rook d8, 13, bishop e3. This position is more tactical than it appears. For instance, if black plays 13, knight to g4 to exchange pieces, white has a nasty surprise. 14, knight to d5. Of course, queen takes c2. Knight takes e7, check. King f8, knight takes c2, knight takes e3. I like throwing in knight g6 here just to mess with black's pawn structure a little bit more. Knight g6 check, hx g6, and then knight takes e3. And material may be even, but white has a big advantage in force that can actually be used. Additionally, black needs to spend time solving problems as the b7 pawn and d7 knight are pinned, so there is no easy way to develop the bishop on c8. Fun stuff, but back to our actual game. After Ian Nepomniachtchi played 13 bishop e3. Kirill Aleeksenko played knight to b6. 14, rook a to c1. All of white's pieces are nicely deployed. The same cannot be said about black, whose bishop on c8 lacks purpose. 14 e5, knight f5, bishop takes f5. With this necessary exchange, black gives up on contesting white's control of the a1 to h8 diagonal. Queen takes f5, knight c4, bishop g5, rook takes d1, and 18, knight takes d1. Nepo keeps the pin on the black knight. 18, rook d8, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6. 20, bishop e4. Significantly adds to black's trouble. 20, queen a5. 21, knight c3. Little bit surprising. Of course, queen takes h7 would have also won. Aleeksenko plays 21, king f8. And now Ian Nepomniachtchi has nice advantages and a rather simple path to expanding upon these advantages. 22, knight d5. And black plays b5. Now queen takes h7. Rook takes d5, bishop takes d5. Queen to d2, threatening the rook on c1, but rook takes c4, bx c4. e4, defending the bishop. Queen takes b2, queen to h8, check. King e7, queen to c8, circling around, queen to b6. Queen takes c4, queen to b5, queen c7, check, queen to d7. And now 31, queen c5, check. Aleeksenko resigns here. If he continued with 31, queen d6 to block the check, Ian Nepomniachtchi would have had queen to a7, check, queen d7, interposing again. But then 33, queen takes a6. Picks off the pawn on a6, and Nepomniachtchi has an easy path to victory. But before we end the round 10 recap, let me show you my favorite play in the tournament thus far contained in the game between Wang Hao and Alexander Grishik. We pick things up on move 20 for Wang Hao, who is white. Fx e5, Hao threatens Grishik's bishop. 20, bishop f5. Grishik threatens Hao's queen. 21, ex f6. And Wang Hao takes the bishop anyways. 21, bishop takes c2. Grishik gobbles up the white queen. 22, fx e7. Absolutely stunning play by Wang Hao. 22, rook f to e8. Because Grishik could not play queen e7. For if queen takes e7, white has bishop takes d5, check, king h8. And then bishop takes c4. And Wang Hao would actually have a material advantage. Stunning. So Grishik played 22, rook f to e8, to which Hao responded 23, knight f4. Incredibly, at this point, Grishik is only up by a point in material. Magnus Carlsen commented, and I quote, "I think having an extra queen is pretty nice." End quote. However, Wang Hao used his remaining pieces to full effect and finished with a most interesting draw against Alexander Grishik. After play finished in round 10, the standings are Ian Nepomniachtchi in first place, Fabiano Caruana, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and Anish Giri in second through fourth place. Wang Hao is in fifth place, Alexander Grishik is also tied for fifth, and then we've got Ding Liren and Kirill Aleeksenko sharing seventh and eighth place. Tomorrow, Nepo will play Caruana in a crucial pairing. There are just 4 more rounds left. As always, I recommend visiting Fide's official tournament site for the 2020-2021 Candidates Tournament for more information and live broadcast links of this year's tournament. However, if your schedule does not allow you to stay up all night watching the event live, I humbly advocate coming to this YouTube channel to see recaps of the day's excitement in my daily chess musings. Also, be sure to check out Daily Chess Musings Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter at Torres Chess. Join our Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com. And peruse through all of our free chess lessons at dailychessmusings.com. And with that, I bid you adieu. My name is Chris Torres, and this has been my Daily Chess Musing.